Hey guys, tonight, as you lie down and prepare to let the world grow quiet, I want you to imagine something very old, very slow, and very calm. Close your eyes if you like, and picture yourself in another time, many centuries ago, when roads were dirt, when journeys took weeks or months, and when walking itself was the most common way to cross the world. You are not just anyone on this road. You are a pilgrim, a traveler who walks not for profit, not for trade, but for faith, for ritual, and for the long patience of the soul. The path beneath your feet is uneven, scattered with stones and soft dust. When your sandals press down, you feel the crunch, the shift, the texture of a medieval road. Around you, the world is wide. The air carries the faint smell of wood smoke from villages far behind. Ahead, the horizon stretches endlessly. Your steps are the first measure of a journey that will take you farther than you can imagine. You carry little with you, a cloak draped across your shoulders, a satchel with bread hard as stone but nourishing, and perhaps a wooden staff to steady yourself. That staff knocks against the ground with a steady rhythm, a heartbeat of wood and earth. In one hand, you might hold a symbol of your pilgrimage, perhaps a scallop shell, the badge of pilgrims who walk toward Santiago, or a small wooden cross, reminding you of the holy site that waits somewhere ahead. The morning is cool, with mist lying low across the fields. You see drops of dew on the grass, sparkling faintly as the sun rises higher. The world is quiet, except for birds greeting the day and the faint breathing of those who walk beside you. Some are strangers, some familiar, but all are silent. There is no chatter, no storytelling. The silence itself feels like part of the ritual. Every step is its own prayer, every breath its own meditation. You think of the life you left behind, a village of wooden cottages, smoke rising from chimneys, fields freshly plowed, neighbors calling one another by name. That place seems smaller now, shrinking into memory as your road grows longer. What once felt permanent is now far away. What lies ahead feels vast and unknown, and yet the silence makes it peaceful rather than frightening. The path bends gently, past hedgerows and scattered oaks. You see a stream cutting across the road, shallow enough to step through. The water glimmers, cool and clear, and you pause to sip it from your hands. It tastes of earth and stone, as though it has carried the memory of mountains. Each swallow refreshes you for more walking, more silence, more patience. By midday, the sun has risen fully. The road warms, the dust rising with each step. You feel it cling to your feet, to the hem of your cloak, but you do not mind. The road was never meant to be easy. Pilgrimage is not about comfort. It is about endurance, about walking until your body teaches your mind to surrender. When hunger comes, you reach into your satchel for bread. It is dry and hard, but as your teeth break into it, you feel gratitude that there is food at all. Perhaps you share a piece with the traveler nearest to you, wordlessly passing it across. A nod, a faint smile, is enough to acknowledge the bond of the road. No words are needed. Later, you pass by a farmer's cottage. Smoke curls from the roof, and chickens scatter as you walk by. A child stares from the doorway, curious at the sight of dusty, cloaked figures moving in silence. The farmer raises his hand in a brief greeting, then returns to his work. Life along the pilgrim road goes on as always, while you continue your quiet march toward something distant and sacred. The landscape changes slowly. Rolling hills spread out, then flatten into open fields. You notice how your body adjusts. Each step less a decision and more a natural rhythm. Your legs carry you without thought. Your breathing falls into time with your staff against the road. You are no longer thinking of how far or how long. You are simply walking, existing, moving forward one moment at a time. As the day begins to fade, shadows lengthen across the path. The air grows cooler. The horizon glows with streaks of gold and rose. You feel the weariness in your legs, the heaviness in your shoulders, but also the strange calm that comes with it. Fatigue is no longer an enemy. It is part of the rhythm, part of the surrender. You know the road is endless, but you also know it will always carry you forward, as long as you keep walking. Finally, you find a place to stop for the night. Perhaps a clearing beneath trees, where the earth is soft. Perhaps a small barn where a kind villager allows you to rest. You lay down your satchel, loosen your cloak, and stretch out upon the ground. The sky above is endless, scattered with stars, brighter than anything in your village. You breathe deeply, listening to the last fading footsteps of pilgrims settling in, the rustle of grass in the evening breeze. And there, as the darkness gathers, you realize this is only the beginning. Tomorrow and the next day, and many days after, the road will call you again. The silence will deepen. The horizon will stretch farther. But for now, the beginning is enough. The first steps have been taken. The long road has begun. The road stretches before you, but this time you are not alone. Others walk with you, men and women, young and old. Yet the quiet among them is so deep that it feels as if silence itself has chosen to join the journey. You notice the sound of footsteps first, dozens of feet, rising and falling against earth and stone, each pair creating its own soft rhythm. Together, those footsteps weave a steady music, a song without words, a hymn of movement. The longer you listen, the more you realize how comforting it is. There is no chatter to break the spell, no constant voices to remind you of ordinary life. Only the measured rise and fall of human movement, echoing like a slow tide against the shore of the road. Now and then, someone coughs softly or clears their throat. Perhaps a staff strikes more firmly than usual, knocking against a loose rock. Perhaps a leather satchel squeaks faintly under the weight of supplies. These are the only intrusions, and even they seem swallowed quickly by the vastness of the landscape. Silence has weight here, and everything else bends beneath it. You glance at the faces of those beside you. One woman, cloaked and hooded, keeps her eyes down as she walks, her lips moving silently. Perhaps she is praying. A tall man walks with his arms folded tightly across his chest, shoulders tense, as though he carries burdens heavier than his satchel. Another, younger, gazes into the distance, as if the horizon might reveal the reason for his long march. None of them speak. They do not need to. The silence becomes its own kind of language. A nod as two pilgrims meet each other's eyes. A faint smile at the offering of a water flask. The small gesture of shifting one's cloak to allow another to pass more comfortably. In this language, everything unnecessary is stripped away. What remains is simple, patient, and deeply human. As the day goes on, you realize how unusual this stillness feels. In your village, silence was rare. There were always sounds. Children calling, livestock lowing, the ring of a hammer against iron, the chatter of neighbors trading news. But here, silence is the rule, not the exception. It wraps itself around the group like a cloak, making every step feel solemn, as though each pilgrim walks not only a road, but also a path inward, into their own thoughts, their own prayers. The silence sharpens your senses. You notice the crunch of gravel, the rustle of leaves stirred by wind, the distant cry of a bird circling overhead. Every sound stands out because there are so few. Even your own breathing feels louder than before, rising and falling in steady rhythm, mingling with the breath of others. The road winds past open fields. In the distance, you see farmers bent over their work, hoes rising and falling in steady arcs. A dog barks once, far away, then stops. The farmers glance up at the passing pilgrims, but they do not wave or call out. Perhaps they too understand the silence, or perhaps the quiet presence of so many travelers inspires a respectful distance. Hours pass, and still the hush holds. You find your mind turning inward, thoughts drifting without interruption. You think of the holy sight ahead, though it is still far beyond reach. You think of the stories told in your village, of miracles at shrines and blessings given to those who endure the long path. You wonder what those blessings will feel like, whether they will be a vision or simply the peace that comes from surviving the journey. Sometimes silence can feel heavy, but this silence does not weigh you down. Instead, it lifts you. Without words, the world seems broader, more spacious. You begin to see the road itself differently, not as an obstacle, but as a companion. Each stone, each bend, each rise and fall in the land feels like part of the company. The sun shifts slowly across the sky. Shadows of the pilgrims stretch long on the ground, moving in silence beside their owners. You watch them lengthen and shorten, a silent chorus of shapes that walk the same path with you. There is a strange comfort in knowing that even your shadow keeps pace, uncomplaining, wordless, like everyone else. As the evening comes, you approach a small clearing where the group will rest. The silence still holds. People spread out blankets, chew bread, sip water. A fire is lit, but even the crackle of flames seems quiet compared to ordinary life. A few words may be spoken now, just enough to ask for bread, to thank for water. But even those words fall gently, as though afraid to disturb the air. You lie down among them, cloak pulled close, the ground firm beneath you. You hear the soft breathing of others nearby, each breath slow, steady, carrying them into sleep. The silence of the day has become the silence of the night. It feels eternal, endless, like part of the very fabric of pilgrimage itself. And as your eyes close, you understand. This journey is not only about where your feet will take you, but also about what silence can teach you. It teaches you to listen. It teaches you to wait. It teaches you that not all stories need words, and not all prayers need voices. The road changes with every mile, and so does the sky above it. One day, the path is dry and dusty, the sun hanging heavy like a golden weight over your head. The next, it is slick with rain, the soil turning to mud that clings to your sandals. Each kind of weather tests you differently, and yet each becomes part of the rhythm of pilgrimage. When the sun blazes, the air shimmers. Heat presses against your back, pressing sweat from your skin. Dust rises with every step, a pale cloud that hangs in the air before settling on your cloak, your hair, your lips. It tastes faintly of earth, of stone ground down by centuries of footsteps. You blink against the brightness, pulling your hood lower, but still the road gleams with light, stretching out endlessly. Your staff grows warm in your hand. The wood, once cool at dawn, now radiates heat from hours beneath the sun. Your shoulders ache beneath your cloak, yet still you walk, step after step, because walking is the only way forward. And as the heat deepens, you begin to notice that everyone suffers equally. No one complains. No one speaks. The silence absorbs the weight of the sun, just as it absorbed the cool of morning. Then the weather shifts. Clouds roll in, gray and slow at first, then thick and restless. A wind rises, carrying the smell of wet earth before the rain even falls. The sky darkens, and then the first drops strike. Cool, sharp, unexpected. At first, they are refreshing, tapping against your face and hands. Then they multiply until the road is slick, the dust transformed into heavy mud. Your sandals sink into it, each step pulling against resistance. The hem of your cloak grows heavy with water. Drops run down your forehead, into your eyes, until you can barely see the path ahead. And yet you walk. The rain muffles the world, making even footsteps softer. You hear only the drumming of drops against earth, against cloaks, against skin. It is another kind of silence. Louder, but just as complete. Sometimes the rain stops quickly, leaving only puddles that reflect the sky. Other times it lingers for hours, turning fields into small lakes, roads into slow rivers. You feel the mud suck at your feet, hear the squelch of each step, and accept it as part of the pilgrimage. To walk is to surrender to whatever the sky decides. Wind, too, becomes part of your journey. On open fields, it sweeps across the land in long, invisible waves. It pulls at your cloak, flaps it against your body, whistles faintly through the staff in your hand. At times, the gusts are strong enough to push you sideways, forcing you to lean into them, steadying your steps. At night, when you lie beneath the stars, the wind carries voices you cannot name. The rustle of leaves, the sighing of grass, the faint moan of distant trees. Then there are mornings when the mist settles thick across the land. The road ahead disappears into a white haze, soft and endless. You walk without horizon, seeing only a few steps before you. The figures of fellow pilgrims fade in and out, shapes moving like ghosts. The silence deepens in such weather, as though the mist itself swallows sound. Every droplet clings to your cloak, your hair, your eyelashes, until the world feels damp, hushed, otherworldly. Through all these shifts, dust, rain, wind, mist, you begin to realize something. The weather is not your enemy. It is your companion. The road would be incomplete without it. Heat teaches you endurance. Rain teaches you patience. Wind teaches you balance. Mist teaches you trust. Each day brings its own lesson, carried not in words, but in the sky itself. You grow accustomed to the marks it leaves upon you. Dust stains your cloak, but you wear it without shame. Mud clings to your sandals, but you keep walking. Rain chills you to the bone, but you endure until the sun returns. Slowly, the discomfort becomes less important. The weather is simply part of the long rhythm, another voice in the quiet song of pilgrimage. As dusk falls after a day of shifting skies, you watch the last light spread across wet fields. The puddles shine like small mirrors. The dust lies damp and settled. The air washed clean. Your body aches from the strain, but your heart feels strangely lighter. The road has tested you again, and you have accepted it. You lay down to rest, and the memory of weather clings to you. Heat on your skin, cool rain against your face, wind across your cloak, mist upon your eyelashes. And in that memory, you feel not weariness, but calm. The sky has walked with you, and tomorrow it will walk with you again. As you walk, the road is not only marked by stones, mud, or weather. It is also marked by the things you carry close to your heart. Every pilgrim holds something that reminds them of the reason they left home, a sacred token that turns each step into a prayer. In your hand, you hold a simple object. Perhaps it is a scallop shell, white and ridged, hanging by a cord around your neck. Pilgrims bound for Santiago often carry such shells. the mark of countless travelers before you. When your fingers brush against it, you remember that you are part of something greater than yourself. The shell is smooth from being touched so often, warm from the heat of your skin, always reminding you of the holy destination. Another pilgrim near you carries a small wooden cross, carved roughly as if made in haste before leaving home. He touches it often, pressing his thumb against its shape, whispering prayers beneath his breath. The cross may not be beautiful, but beauty is not the point. The weight of belief is carved into it, and that weight makes every mile bearable. Some pilgrims carry cloth badges stitched with sacred symbols. Others carry small bags of earth from their homeland, a way of bringing part of their past to lay at the feet of the holy site. One woman wears a rosary looped around her wrist, the beads clicking faintly as she walks. Each bead is a step, each step a prayer. The sound is soft, but in the silence of the road, it becomes a rhythm, as steady as the footsteps themselves. You too feel the presence of your token deeply. Without it, you might forget why you endure hunger, thirst, and pain. With it, each trial feels connected to something beyond the body. The object is small, but its meaning is vast. It is not the shell, or the cross, or the bead that matters. It is the way it binds your journey to your faith, and your faith to the very ground beneath your feet. At times, when the road feels endless, you lift the token in your hand, holding it up to the sky. Perhaps you whisper no words at all, only let the gesture itself speak. The heavens see, the earth sees, and you feel seen. You are reminded that this path has been walked by thousands before you, and each one carried their own symbol. Each step presses not only their feet into the dust, but also their hopes, fears, and prayers.